Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for a brand new season of the Match of the Day live stream watch-alongs, where we come back together after every Saturday and possibly every Sunday, depending on fixtures itself, every week to week. And obviously we go over the highlights of Arsenal, but also the results of our teams in and around us and our rivals, be it Man City, Manchester United, Chelsea, they performed this year. I doubt it, you never know. Liverpool, and kind of for the relegation for the back to normality, Tottenham Hotspur. Sort of Tottenham. Oh, brilliant. You couldn't ask for a better start to the season. Arsenal win. The noisy neighbours lose their best ever player in God knows how many years. Within 24 hours, he plays in a cup final. That cup final, he loses. He couldn't make it up. Oh dear. But going back to obviously Premier League wise, as I said, I've given a spoiler already for anyone who hasn't watched or liking this. Yeah, he knows the opening's kick Felix. Woohoo! Actually not actually decent. Better than the last incredible we've had for the last 2-3 seasons now on BBC. So I would say a lot better. I'm liking that though. The order of play and all that. See, I'm slightly distracted, but I love it. Back to some clubs, yeah. New look green screen, no righty. Well, he knows New Zealand, don't know. Australia, actually. Yeah, Mickey Richards and Alan Shearer. A very happy Alan Shearer. A very relieved Alan Shearer. In so many ways. Yeah, got to give him his captain's hat. What his little tweet towards Harry Kane yesterday. I'll take you to the airport, Harry. I'll fly to Germany, Harry. Oh dear. Poor Kane, my ass. Oh dear, gotta love it. You gotta love him. The gift that keeps on giving. Only Harry Kane. I mean, we all know Gareth Bale. He left from Madrid, and the instant success he had there in Madrid, you can't diss him for, obviously, and that side of things. But Harry Kane, years later, the best player they've got, goes, bye-bye, have we descent, I'm off to Germany, I'm off to win the Farmers League over in Germany. The only team that wins the Bundesliga, by the way, the only team that wins anything in Germany, by the way. Oh, yeah, hi, we've lost 3-0, okay. When he came on, it was 2-0, don't get me wrong, when he came on, it was 2-0 Leipzig. Because I'll be honest, I watched the game tonight just out of interest, pure interest in Sky. And he came on 2-0 down in 5 minutes. It's a penalty, 3-0. But well, he just couldn't make it up. And he's down on the bench thinking, I thought this meant to be an easy league. Brilliant, I love it. But the first game, by the way, going back to the match today, is Newcastle versus Aston Villa. Don't know what the accent there, but okay. St James's Park. So let's get the scoreboard up for that one. There we go. Bit of a comfortable result there. Jesus Christ. And now, people said it back into last season about I touched it as well. Tunali scores in his debut for the Geordies as well. Tapping FC that was, bloody hell. But I said this, I called this. Other people went even up bigger platforms that started putting it out there as well. The second Newcastle got Champions League spot. Beware of them this season. They ain't gonna mess about. They're not gonna be satisfied as a team. Just get scraping fourth and all that. They're gonna want to send a message, and I think they kind of did today against a very. Some of these YouTubers, big YouTubers out there, predicting Aston Villa to get top 4. By the way, before today's games, any games kicked off. But predicting that Unai Emery was going to perform a masterclass and put Aston Villa into Champions League football for the following season. Yeah. Again, as an Arsenal fan, this is second season in Miami syndrome. Basically, as an Arsenal fan, I've been there. We've been there as Arsenal fans. We saw this. We saw this unfold in front of our very eyes all them years ago. First season looked okay. Looked like okay, we're going somewhere quicker than what we thought. Second season came along, and yeah, we all know what happened there. And this is Aston Villa, and everyone thought, oh, we got Villa. You know, yeah, me as a good thing. The teams with Villa in the name and all that. Yeah, got to say, I will say this though, but Diaby's goal there for Villa, fucking, pardon my French, really well taken there on the volley, past Pope. But apart from that, yeah, there's no Jimenez. A lot of people was like, oh, Aston Villa, they're going to chance the top four, get in the top four. But I'm not saying assassin. I'm just sitting there thinking, yeah, okay. As an Arsenal fan, even before today's game, I was like, going by past histories and how we were defensively in the second season, I think so. And look at the players we had compared to this Aston Villa team. I don't think so. And I've been with one game already proven right. Because defensively, this is meant to be. I was expecting this before the game to be a lot closer scoreline wise. And yeah, as we can tell, that was not the case. It was a complete whitewash. And I'm still waiting, by the way, for the statement from Emmy Martin as Aston Villa goalkeeper going, it's Arsenal's fault I conceded 5 today. They should never have let me go. Fucking Newcastle got a bit between their teeth, and people, oh, so happy for them. Yeah. You all slag off Man City nowadays. This is the new equivalent of Man City coming. So brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. Because it's coming. I think, honestly, from what I saw again today, mainly second half because I got back late because I don't kick off in the Arsenal game. By the way, I'll get onto that later. Well, Mings got stretched it off. Oh, bloody hell, that don't look good. What the fuck was Martinez doing? He should have been. Surely he got sent off. How's that a booking? That's a red card offence. Sorry, I pitched there, but that's a red. Martinez goes flying out of his goal. It's just basically the ball's gone. Takes that hammer on. No, you're not getting past. Go away. Literally assaults him basically. Yellow card. What the? Anyone else? That's a red card. Yes, again, new season, new rules, and the referees are still saying crap. That's a good goal. I'll say that. Basic again. I keep going to say, but I think Newcastle could be a challenge for the title this year. Not just based on this game, but because again, the mentality of the ownership and the fact they got top 4 last year, and the window still open. I said it a bit between their teeth. They won't win it. They're not going to win the title this season, but they will challenge. But by the looks of it, this was a statement win. Whenever I've seen a statement win, this was a statement win against a very highly recommended, decent team in Aston Villa under Unai Emery. Yeah. Not going to be easy at St James's Park anymore. No. What? Oh, I want to go back to the days when St James's Park was a walk through most of the time. You just go there, get your 3 points, and get out of there. Big up, we've got Karen in the chat, we've got Nemeth in the chat, we've got Moss in the chat already. How you doing, guys? Hope you all keep on well and safe. And enjoy your days respectively. Also, because I wasn't here earlier, big up to Gary as well. Big shout out to Gary again for the second time in the second watch along in the row. He stepped in for me while I was at respective games. He's done he did yet again another stellar job. And also a massive shout out to the England women's team, beating Colombia 2-1. Alicia Russo, not one of our own, but as in one of our own players in our Arsenal perspective, scoring the winning goal to send England to the World Cup semi-finals. Now playing against Australia Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock. Woohoo! Tuna we send home money to Saudis, Toontown in Canada. Saskatoon, we need a football club, build a stadium to build. Yeah, it is what it is. The thing is that people can't. The thing is, people want to dig out the set like Newcastle ownership, right? Okay, that's morally, if it's moral wise or whatever, fair enough, whatever. But you can't dig them out without digging out Roman Abramovich and the Chelsea from his time at Chelsea. You can't then not dig out the Man City ownership, and where they're from and what their morals are and all that country wise. PSG, the Qatari owners owning PSG, the potential new owners, if they are Qatari at Man United, you can't not dig them out. You can't just go, well, they're Saudis. We're only going to attack them and no one else out of the, be it a Russian oligarch or another Middle Eastern oil money FC setup, be it in England or abroad. You can't just focus on one. You've got to focus on all the other motherfuckers out there that own these football clubs. And who, again, every time we have this conversation, it goes back to the FA and the Premier League allowing Roman Abramovich, a known oligarch, to take over Chelsea from Kent. I can't remember who it was now. Kent based? I can't remember now. But yeah, to buy Chelsea and do what he did. It's because of him and how he spent the money when he first came in as well, by the way. We have this FFP situation. Well, it's not even FFP, but you know what I'm saying? That the setup was put in place because of how frequent he was doing what he was doing. But it's because the Premier League allowed him, knowing who he was and what he was about, to take over Chelsea. And then 4 years later, you have the consortium at Man City take over Man City, and they've gone on to do what they've done. And Newcastle just the updated version of Man City. They're going to be the updated version of Man City, basically. People was like, "Oh, good for Newcastle, good for..." Yeah, to an extent, the fan base deserved better than what they were getting beforehand. But at what price? Where now they can, as you say, it's just. And again, I'm not solely digging out the Saudis themselves or anything like that. As I say, I'm more of a. If I'm going to call one person out, I'm going to call all the crap motherfuckers out, and there's a lot out there. It's not. You can't just, as I say, you can't just go. Well, Newcastle has Saudi owners. It's the end of the world. They're an absolute disgrace to football. As I say, Premier League started all this when they allowed Roman in, and then they allowed Man City owners come in 4 years later. Then you've got the League One with the PSG situation with Qatar, and it's slowly. And obviously now it's obviously with Newcastle as well. It's gone this way. It's always going to go this way. There's no going back. It's all the Premier, and from our perspective in England, it's all the Premier League's fault. Yes, they had a product that was big money, but they decided to let the oligarch bastard in, which then led to, as I say, Man City. And look where Man City were before the ownership. So it led to that. which is now obviously years later led to the Newcastle takeover. And once before that, the PSG takeover. And people wonder why it's so non-competitive now. But hey, it is what it is. Got Gary in the chat. Big up, Gary. Again, I don't know if you heard, Gary. I did give you a massive shout out and a big thanks for obviously stepping in again this week. Do appreciate that. Big up, Tom. Hope you're keeping well, my friend. And we'll reach out to you later. Check it on you as well. Privately, obviously. That's it. Pardon me. Football's not very good lately. But you can't just dig out. My point is, you can't just dig out one club because of their ownership. Well, it's been in football for how many years now? Since 2003. It's built since then, and it's uncontrollable thing. We can't go back with now. I'm sorry, this is a red card. How Martinez does not get sent off for that, I do not know. He's a World Cup winner. PSG 0-0 today. Did they play today? I don't obviously we all know Bayern Munich playing because obviously what happened there. Let's have a look. Who are they even playing? Honestly, I didn't even know they were playing today. Was it their version of the Community Shield, the French version of the Community Shield, basically? I'm just asking. I don't know if it was or not. Also, massive shout out to, as I say, I just shout out the England women's team, obviously for obvious reasons. I mean this and all that. And we do cover, and apart from today's game, where I was at the game, and I couldn't ask it of Gary to start off covering the game with England, and then also blend in the part way through the start of it, start the show. Oh, by the way, the Arsenal kicking off. You've got to cover both games. I couldn't ask him to do that, so that's the only reason why we didn't do the officially do the England team watch along as well. But we will be coming back on Wednesday with myself and whoever's available for that. Obviously, 11 a.m. kickoff UK time. But if the Australian women's team, obviously one of the co-hosts, the only standing host nation left in this top competition, in the semi-final themselves. I was on the way to the game. I watched the penalty shootout on the train there. And at one point, I thought no one wanted to win this because it was like, France miss, Australia miss, France miss, Australia miss. It's like, I can take the game to us to win. Oh dear, Kane subbed on, lose 3-0. I've seen that trick. And Kane still trophy this for now. For now, that's the point. For now, because it's because of Bayern Munich, they will come good. We know that they've won the league 11 years in a trot. I mean, the last one was by the teeth, but they still won it. Right, next team up is Brighton and Hove Albion against the Premier League new boys, Luton Town. Never thought I'd say them words. But here we are in 2023-24 season. Luton are a Premier League club. I mean, they got battered, but they're still a Premier League club. And I stand, but I know many group chats. There's one group chat. I am in particular. That's a mix of fans, and there happens to be one particular fan that's a Luton fan, and the majority of us are trying to give them a reality check, really, by saying that Luton are going to get they're going down. Luton are going down. There's no way Luton can stay up in this league. They haven't done enough in the transfer window. They spent most of the bulk of them funds from promotion in refurbing their stadium to make sure it's to spec. And even then, they're better delayed. They're late on that, so they're having to move home fixtures and change them to away fixtures to make sure they don't. Again, to make sure that their first going to do play Kenilworth Road now is the Premier League spec. And what money they have, that's so easy. And that tell me with the assist as well, that is a difference between Championship football and Premier League football, my friend. Simple cross into the box of Matoma. Just lofted it in, and March was there. One literally in between defenders. Just jumps up, goes boom. So oh dear. As I was saying, yeah, so yeah. I've been saying, I and a couple of others in particular have been saying like Luton. Not only are they going to get relegated, there is a potential. I think it's like yeah, I'll come back to that in a sec. But there's a potential with Luton Town here. They could repeat or be worse than the Derby County team of 07-08. Because in terms of transfer business in general, apart from Ross Barkley, all the players they've brought in are bog standard championship players and not there's no Premier League proven player in their squad. Apart from, as I say, Ross Barkley, the ones that in terms of what they bought in terms of what they've brought in. And I do fear that Luton are gonna be, in terms of points total, worse off than Derby of 07-08. And that is saying something. If you're old enough to remember that season or look back on that season, that was bad. One win all season for that Derby County team. I mean, one win and a draw. I don't know how many points it was. So, there's one win for definite, but they drew 3 games. If I'm right in saying, or 4, and they lost to Vest. I mean, when I say lost, they lost. And from the get-go, you could see it. And then today, look at this. And again, this is the difference. This is the difference from Championship to Premier League. And I might sound harsh, and I might upset some Luton fans that might come across this. I don't care. I'm just going to say it how it is, like I always do. And you can't come up to the Premier League, even if it's the first time I've asked him. You know how many years I've been since being a top flight team. You cannot come up to this league and just go, well, we're not going to add any. We're not going to add any Premier League experience to our squad. We're just going to use the team that got us here, because that doesn't work. Trust me, nowadays that don't work. You need Premier League proven players. You can't, not just one, by the way. You need that goal scorer up top that you can rely on at Premier League level. They haven't got that. It's a Championship squad in the wrong league, and I fear they're gonna try and do what Norwich did for a couple of years. Soft. How's that a penalty? I'm sorry, Luton got a penalty. How was that a penalty? I've seen the ball being crossed in. Lewis Dunk is going away from the ball. His arms are not up in the air, but he's stunned across the ground. So basically, just stop him falling on his backside doing an injury. The ball, again, he can't stop it. He can't stop the ball hitting his arm. He's going on. He's not doing it. He's just gone off or like that. He's stunned across. It's hit him. And that was given. But as I was saying, they've got a Championship squad. And it's like they want to do what Norwich did, basically come up, go down, come up, go down. Oh my God! Seriously. Look, say that one, sir. And the defending is woeful. Look at that. How much space do you want to give the kid? Oh my God! Yeah. You know what? I'm saying it now. I'm actually going to say it now. After one game, they are not only going down, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to finish 20th, and they're going to have less points. I'm telling you now, less points than Derby County of 07-08. I'm saying it now. That defending, literally, how many chances they had to clear that ball? And in the end, there's just ball watching. Up in the air. Oh, 3-1 now. Oh, well. Oh, shame. There's a shot there at the post. Stefan's in the chat here. Stefan? Yeah, I think it basically because Luton's first home game. I believe, last time I heard, it was only Luton's first home game that they've had to postpone to a later date. So they're away next week, but I think there's what would have been their second home game is now their first home game. I think it's West Ham in a few weeks' time. I think, give me a word. I think there should be some kind of Super League as a bottom. You know, crap. No, let's not go to. Yeah, please. No, what? It's hard to suggest anything to make this league any better because, oh my God, defending literally again. I say defending, lack of. There's one game and I want to say no. You're getting Leslie doing worse in Derby County of 07-08. Oh my days. They shouldn't be in this league. I know they shouldn't be in this league, but they got here by merit because of what they did in the playoffs. Throughout the season itself and in the playoffs itself. But for God's sake. Luton got to favourites for Champions League football qualification. Yeah, okay. Then you woke up. Everyone woke up from that dream, Stefan. I think this will be some kind of it's hard. I don't know. I don't know how to suggest to make this league more better as a whole. Like the lesser teams to come to our level, with all due respect, and there's no dig or anything, but it, it's hard to say because you've got Man City with their ownership, you've got Newcastle with their ownership. In the next year or two, them two are going to start walking away this league, and it's going to be them two first and second, and then the rest of us are finding out for third, fourth onwards. That's how this league's going because of the Premier League allowing these takeovers of this ilk, so to say, to happen, and everyone else gets left behind because you can't. You cannot have multiple. When I say multiple, I mean like every. For example, this season, of all 20 Premier League teams, all 20 Premier League teams this season, for the ones that haven't got the oil money like Newcastle and Man City have, ownership-wise, you can't then. There's no way to have the same sort of owners at the respective clubs because that's the only way, really, nowadays. Yeah, it's all well and good. Arsenal and Liverpool, their American owners doing what they've been doing. Well, Liverpool initially, now Arsenal coming along with their American owners, building teams like we're doing. But not every club has that. Every club has that. Not even the ones that obviously have been in this league for how many? I say, for example, 6, 7 years. Don't have that sort of ownership. They're the local man of the local area. Basically, it's basically look at Palace and things like that. That's whole setup, for example. West Ham with Sullivan now. It was Gold, but obviously Gold passed away start of the year. So it's Sullivan. And so it's difficult to say to just pinpoint where we can help bring in these other 13 clubs up to be a competitive nature where the league isn't just a walkway. It doesn't go down a route where it's gonna go down in reality in terms of Newcastle, Man City, the next year or so. if someone comes up with it, fair enough, let's go with it. But until then, it's gonna be a 2-horse race, and everyone else making up the numbers basically. Because eventually, the model that we are doing at Arsenal, that Liverpool have been doing for the last 7 years under Klopp, at Liverpool, eventually that ethos just won't be enough to even compete for the league, let alone win it. I thought you were going to do an England watching. I couldn't, my friend. If I hadn't been that, basically the gist of it was, I was at the Arsenal game today. So and initially going by the Sky Sports app, I was looking at Sky Sports app like match game winners of game 5. Okay, that would be England because we had the 5th game of the last round versus the winner of match day of game 7, whatever. Which would have been us. We were meant to be the early kickoff today, so I was meant to. But then for some reason, I don't know why, the Australia-France game got put first ahead of ours. Yay. The main event, everyone. The main event. The Arsenal. Oh, of course, the BBC dig us out for that. No, don't get me started. Don't get me started on that fucking digital ticketing bullshit that fucking we've been forced down our throats this season. But yeah, so the initial plan was to do that. If it went extra time, then Gary could have took over, bled it into the Arsenal game basically in one stream. But obviously the kickoff, there's no way I could do it. I couldn't ask Gary to get up even earlier for that World Cup game and ask him to cover that. Then in one stream, start off with that, and then blend in the Arsenal game as well. So yeah, but we will be covering the women's semi-final on Wednesday morning, 11 a.m. So do 11 a.m. kickoff, 10:30 will go live. All the build up and all that. But yeah, and so the main thing is the girls did go through, and it was an Arsenal player that scored the winning goal. Just saying. Oh. It does seem top 6 versus the best, yeah. I will not be doing fucking Saturday watch songs. Lee Gunner can if he wants to. Not me. Oh dear, this game was a fucking enigma, I'm telling you, because literally, first off, all over, apart from that one opportunity they had where we bit of a ricochet of a ball fell in their way. Literally, we were all over fucking Forest. 2-0 at half time was flattering to them. In terms of how aggressive we were against them, that assist from Martinelli. Oh. But it's just thing like second half, we've come out in the second half. I don't get why Timber, by the way, no disrespect to Timber, but considering he went down just before half time with a knock, I don't get why he came back out for the second half. Because in literally 2-3 minutes into the second half, he goes down injured. Based on the fact of whatever he picked up in the first half. It was like, then Tommy Ashley comes on, and Tommy Ashley did all right, don't get me wrong. But it's just like the whole Timber thing. I'm hoping it's not a serious injury or nothing, because that would be so disheartening. But it just seems in general the team came out and it's just like it took the foot off the gas, got a bit cocky because they're tuning up, coasting, and they thought the third would come eventually, sort of thing. That sort of attitude. I just got a bit cocky, took the foot off the gas a bit, and then in the last 10 minutes or so, we gave away that sloppy goal, which again was avoidable because I'm up at that end, far side where basically you're seeing obviously Eddie and Saka go off to celebrate their goals respectively. That was the side I was on that end. There we go. Talk to Saka. Look at this. Oh, God, you are not going to find a better goal this season already. I'm sorry, you just won't. That was so well taken. That's again setting the mark for the new season. Saka was today with that goal, and he's just like every season he just wants to flip me off. He wants to prove that he's getting better and better, and this is just mental. You won. Of course we bloody won. I'm not, no, my point is, when I'm saying about second half, we see other teams, we see over the up to last season with Liverpool. That's last season aside, previous seasons to that under Klopp, they went 2-0 up at home against a team like Forest, a team like Forest for me, like going to be in and around the relegation or whatever. They went 2-0 up after the in the 2-0 up at home. They'd go for the third, they'd go for the fourth, they'd go for the fifth, etc. Before take the foot off the gas basically, and going through the motions that way. We saw it last season against Liverpool and West Ham. Freakish as they were at the time, still there, they're still injured there, obviously within 2 weeks respectively. And then today, it's the same. We were having chances. We were having chances. Don't get me wrong. A second, we were having chances. It was just like the cocky, because we were having chances. It's like, oh, the cockiness got in to the team at the worst time. Oh, it'll come. The third will come. It'll be fine. We sort of overcommitted and left no defenders to defend basically for their goal. And Ben White, I'll be honest again, because I was up at that end, so I thought it'll play out the way it did. Ben White pissed me off for their goal, because as you'll see, I don't know if you're watching it, guys, now, but when the goal comes along, you'll see in a sec. He's on the alongside the attacker, the winger. I think it was an angle. He's running alongside it somewhat, and there's for no reason whatsoever. No reason. There was no one else to sort of. He wasn't left on his own, basically. He had to choose one of the two. He's gone for the latter. He decided to go by Elanga and literally left Elanga. We all know what Elanga's like from his Man United days. Left Elanga to go running into acres of space, leaving Saka to try and get back and defend it. Here we go now. Let's see. There we go. He's jogging along, and he just starts pulling away. He leaves Saka completely exposed and trying to track back. And he just literally, and then amongst all that, he doesn't even mark the man he goes to mark. And it was so avoidable in so many aspects, but he could have cut it off at the source. He could have quite easily cut that off. But he decided not to, for whatever reason. So it's so poor. 2-1, I'll be honest, that the score on itself flatters Forest, because we were so dominant for the first half mainly. And yes, we had chances in the second half, sorry. We had them chances for the third and all that, but we just, I think it's just a matter of, again, cockiness. It'll come sort of thing. And yeah, the cockiness backfired, but thankfully not too much. Just an initial warning, basically. But the main thing is that, again, we got the 3 points. That's all you can ask for in one sense, especially in the circumstances of the day, how it started with fucking turnstile gate, that what it was, and when I mean turnstile, I mean fucking turnstile, digital passes. Yeah, they're the way forward. You just turn up, tap it in, you go. Tap, no, not letting you in. But ticket's genuine. Don't care, you're not letting you in. Yeah. So bad, they had to delay the kickoff. So bad that I'm now seeing videos since I got home tonight where they opened what would be the exit gates of the Emirates. When you leave the Emirates basically after a game, them doors were given. They were then told to open them doors and let let the fans in. Don't check, by the way. Don't check if they've got tickets. Just open the doors and see what happens. Basically, that could have been disaster. For any chance could have gone. You know, boom. Me. How was it seen last live? Yeah, for his debut again. For his debut, can't complain. Absolutely, we've got to play in it again. Early days, still not obviously. He's just getting used to the system of Arteta and Arsenal now. But I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far. But again, it's early days. Just obviously game by game, letting build in properly, and as time goes on, as he settles, we will see I think we'll see an even better Declan than what we have seen previously at West Ham. And that's just get the shit out of everyone else in the league. When you see him live, you realise how unbelievable he is. No, his athleticism. I saw him last week. I was at the Arsenal City game last week at Wembley, so I saw him live there as well. But his athleticism, even in that game, is unbelievable. Like, they've actually a couple strides, he can track back, lock his leg around, and get the ball and poke it off to his teammate. He is the real deal. And West Ham fans out there being salty about it, you need to suck it up and move on. What was McKill doing with that lineup? I think again it's an experiment. I said this at the game as well. In the group chats, a few of the group chats I mentioned it, and people I've gone with Stu and others around us. It felt like, because it's Forest, that we're at home and it's not in Forest, a team that's, again, we beat last year 5-0 at the Emirates, a team that's amongst the favourites to be relegated. It felt like he was experimenting today with things. He was testing things out, i.e. the Kai Havertz and Declan pivot, and putting Partey at the inverted right back, for example, just to test out the pivot of Kai and Odegaard. Not Odegaard, Kai and Declan, sorry. Timber at left back, or the inverted left back. I don't know. Tilly wasn't on the bench today, by the way. I don't know if that's an injury he's picked up during training, or there's something else going on. Obviously I can't answer that one. But trying to think now. No, that's not shameful. It just, as I say, it just felt like he's experimenting with certain things, testing things out, and yeah, it's sort of almost, it could have backfired. But I think, again, if we played, with all due respect to Forest, and I don't want to upset any Forest fans out there, but if we had been playing a better quality side, he wouldn't have done what he did. He would have played the best 11 in their right positions, no matter what. So we would have seen, obviously, Ramsdale, would have seen Ben White at right back, Gabriel and Saliba, Timber in the inverted left back, because I don't know what Martinez and Zinchenko, we don't know what's going on there. Very injured, but played charity game. But anyway, and then it would have been Partey and Declan for the pivot. You would have had Odegaard up top. You would have seen, probably, if Kai was to start, you would have seen him in the false nine, Martinelli and Saka. No way does Eddie start today if it was a better opposition team and Arteta goes full strength to his abilities. Again, there's no dig at Eddie, because he did score today, a fantastic goal and all that, and he actually, again, there's levels to this. Just saying. But as I say, I've not heard it. I think it's Stefan. I haven't heard these rumours. Oh, you've mentioned these a few times and stuff. I haven't heard any of these rumours, to be honest. But again, I don't know if he was injured. I don't know if he picked up an injury during training or something during the week, and that's why he wasn't playing today. But yeah. Eddie just needs another 29 goals. It ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. Oh, Sheffield United versus Palace now. Eddie ain't going to move to City. Game City ain't that desperate. It's Hodgson. Fancy retiring. I think I've lost all, in terms of Roy Hodgson, with all due respect, I've lost all, no pun intended, by the way, I've lost all respect for him as a person. Guy announced his retirement a couple of years ago, yeah? This was it. That last season, that previous season was the last season at Palace as a manager in general. Gonna retire, spend time with his wife. initially Watford for 6 months. I was like, okay, payday, whatever. They got relegated. They were shit. Even with Roy, they were shit. And I was going to change the scoreboard quickly. And then he goes off into retirement again. What was his score? I think it's been 1-1. I think, being up to word. No. I believe it was a score anyway, in the end. They would have a camera. Right. As I say, went off into retirement again after the Watford debacle, whatever. And then last year, Vieira gets sacked. Palace showed their true. The Palace owners showed yet again their lack of ambition and their true worth. Was that actually the goal they conceded? Oh, God's sake, Jesus Christ! I think Sheffield United stay up this season by the skin of their teeth. But they need to do some business in the window, get some experience up top, basically, and quick. But as I say, Palace owners showed what they were all about, showed their ambition by bringing back Roy Hodgson again out of retirement. He saved their asses, if you will. And you think, okay, he saved them, fairy tale thing, go for retire again. No, I'm staying put for another year. Fuck me. I think they're again Palace again. I think they're a bit. They're going to be another team that struggles, but they'll just survive. Just because there's other teams that are that bit shitter than them. They haven't got Zaha to fall back on now. I never rated Zaha, by the way. Edouard just scored a goal, by the way. That's it. Thought the Roy Hodgson thought what this was. Are you out on the wing? Gets two men, takes them on, ball across the ball in, ball watching from two other defenders, and Edouard's just there to toe poke it in with his boot. Jesus Christ. Sheffield United, the so-called Norwich of the North. Jesus Christ, that ain't a good thing then. Jesus. Oh fuck up. Oh yeah, yes, it, Roy. You're pushing the mid to late seventies, yeah. Let's screw up some guy in his 20s, basically, yeah. All because he's entitled. He's on home turf. He's a phone to Sheffield United. He's entitled to pick up the ball. You're there getting in his fucking grill. Are you fucking for real? Oh, was that an offside again? Edouard's goal there, but it was offside. I was going to say, fuck. Good to see King Toffee goal should have counted. I hope so. Again, that game hasn't come up yet, but yeah. Well, hey, again, Chris was we've got in the chat actually. Big game tomorrow. Even bigger now with the old Casado situation that playing out the way it has done over the last 48 hours. How are you feeling ahead of the well, not just the Liverpool Chelsea game or Chelsea Liverpool tomorrow, sorry, but the season ahead in general? We've got no DMs. Fabinho's basically gone. If he hasn't already. Henderson's gone. Yes, he brought midfielders in, but they're more attack-minded midfielders, and not. They're not. You need defensive midfielders as well. And you've lost. The only two you did have, you lost. Kate, I don't class Kate as a DM because he never fucking played with Liverpool. Let's be honest. Let's dip that one in the bud. He was just injury prone. FC he was. Oh my god, he was like the modern day Jimmy fucking Redknapp. But it's so hard to guess that game's gonna be. That's gonna be one of them games where it's gonna be either the built up so highly, it's gonna be the best 0-0 in the world, or one team can absolutely outdo the other, basically. And if it's the latter, I fear for the team that loses that game and gets battered, basically, as a neutral fan. And this is Chelsea, of course. Doesn't matter anymore. Oh, dear. Chelsea have a draw because they can't put fight. May draw 2-2. I predicted a 2 Desmond 2-2. Okay. August. Who was that in goal? For Sheffield Wednesday. I fucking remember what's in the fucking Sheffield United there. Jesus. Sheffield United. Was that Ramsdale's replacement? Basically, Ramsdale's replacement. Basically, I can't pronounce his name again. Ugh. Yeah, that game's good. That game's got so much build up now, especially this Casado situation that's played out over the last 24 or 48 hours or so. That is gonna either be the best game ever in terms of goals and drama galore, or it's going to be an absolute snooze fest and be the dullest 0-0 ever. And no one will have any indication of where either team is after that game. Oh dear. On the other hand, obviously Brentford play Tottenham tomorrow. No Harry Kane. Son has been made the captain of Tottenham Hotspur now. Yeah, that's it. You've come in, seen all your players that you've got that want to stay with you. Obviously, Lloris is on his way out door at some point. Kane's left. That would have been the captain. He's left. So I know. I'll give the captain's armband to the one player last season in the attack, apart from the pigeon that didn't turn up. That literally turned up for one game against Leicester, and then literally in between all that, prior and after, went missing. Yeah, he's your new captain. And what was it? Yeah, Madison. Madison, who's been in the door for 5 minutes, is your vice captain. Okay, and Romero. What could go wrong there? And we've got them in a few weeks' time after the international break. Woo! 3 points FC coming our way. Oh dear. But all seriousness, if Brentford get an early break in that game, Tottenham could be in trouble. That's all I'm saying. Big trouble. Actually, I'll talk about fixtures next week because obviously Arsenal play on a Monday night under the lights at Palace again for the third year in a fucking row. First season in a row, so to say. What could do us wrong there next Sunday, as I say, next week? So we've got any games on Friday nights? Forest vs United. I'm not bothered about that. It's probably on Sky, so I'm not bothered about that. It's gonna be fucking snore fest. We have got on Saturday no early kickoff. Okay. Fulham, Brentford, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Luton versus Burnley. They've been postponed or just moved to it. So Burnley versus Luton, basically, for that one. So it'd be at Turf Moor again. Instead of being at the Kenny. Wolves versus Brighton. Oh God, that'd be either Brighton win that, would be a book or Snowfest, one of the two. The Spuds versus United. Man City, Newcastle. Is that going to be? Oh, that might be on. What is it now? TNT now. That'll be interesting. 8 o'clock. What's on Sunday then? Fucking have a couple of decent games there. Sunday. Next week we've got Aston Villa versus Everton and West Ham versus Chelsea. Oh my God! Well, oh, don't get me started on West Ham. Just don't. But that game, we're getting Sheffield United Palace there. Apart from the goal that was allowed, there's 2 goals disallowed for offside, and rightly so. Sheffield United defensively all over the place, and they need to, again, like I said about Luton, get some experience in and quick. Otherwise, I might have to reevaluate my bottom 3 for this season. Then obviously, so I'm like, you know what? Because I'm doing my match of day stuff next Saturday anyway. I could do either a Spuds versus United watch along or Man City Newcastle. You know what? I might do the based on what Newcastle's result was today. I might do a Man City Newcastle watch along, depending on how I feel, and depending on how I feel throughout the week and not near the time and all that. And if England are in the World Cup final as well, that means I have to have watch along on a Sunday. So I can literally do that on a Saturday, and not have to. What's the third, fourth place playoff basically? That's what. Everton versus Fulham. Willian and Pickford. Oh, BX is in the chat. BX, I did send you a message on Instagram. If you haven't checked it out, I would advise you to go check it out very quickly. Bayern didn't win the Champions Cup tonight. It's a curse. It's a curse. Not the curse. He is a curse. I die little inside when I first see Motd. Fucking most overrated twat Brighton ever produced. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, most overrated twat Brighton ever produced in their Premier League existence. Did we win? We did, Gary. We did. Well, we're talking about the women's side of things. Your USA team didn't, but the England team did, obviously. And I know you're English, so I will allow you the. Did we win? If it's gone about England, yes, I'll allow you that because you are technically English by birth and where you were born and all that. Oh dear. Unlike others, I'm nice to you, aren't I? I'm not cruel. The most overrated twat Brighton ever produced is Ben. Oh, the bitterness on Tom there. Oh dear. Again, I don't know the ins and outs. I know Tom mentioned it before, but again, I can't remember the ins and outs of why Ben didn't end up back at Leeds permanently or not. And there was this, that, and the other. But you gotta let it go. Just 3 years later, everyone's moved on now. What was the score, by the way? Did you play today? You played tomorrow at Leeds. That's a point. Genuinely, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I know Southampton drew 4-4, by the way, against Stefan's nemesis. Ryan, you asked. So yeah, we'll get that sorted in the next couple of days. BX, get it all sorted. Gary, as well. When you, oh my god, that cannot count, surely. As I say, that cannot count, surely. Fucking Neno's been found to fuck. I'm defending Neno here, for fuck's sake. Oh dear, so yeah, Saturday, here we go. Competition, all comps, give me the all comps. The championship. So yeah, it's like the commentary, yeah. I saw the commentary game, the results side at the Emirates at half time. Fucking off 3-0. And I had it's early doors and all that. But I did have Boa to come up this season. Okay, yeah, Leeds are playing. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else on that. Sorry, Tom. Yeah. Fucking QPR won a game. Jesus Christ. Wow. Leicester only just won. Hull battered Sheffield United. Sheffield Wednesday side. Ipswich won. Good on Ipswich. So Stefan will be happy then. 2-0 against Stoke. First home game back in the Championship. Sunderland lost again. 2-1 in Preston this time. You know, Watford Plymouth 0-0. West Brom 3, Swansea 2. I think Charlie Patino made his debut today, actually, talking to Swansea. Got out Charlie Patino, Arsenal prodigy, potentially. After talks of him apparently wanting to leave permanently, if he couldn't get any chances this season at Arsenal, has seen the light and has gone out on loan to Swansea City. So hopefully he has a good season there. Good luck to him. And yeah. Did he get an assist? Swansea. Did he play? That's the question. Did he play? I heard he had. I don't think he did. I don't think he registered in time. He did, and he got an assist. He actually did get an assist. He came on in the 74th minute, 61st minute, sorry, and got an assist in the 74th. I'd say we keep an eye out on Charlie because I think he is a quality player, but obviously he's still young, still raw. He comes back end of the season with a year left in his contract. If he does well, we can extend his contract and start bleeding him into our senior squad, basically, hopefully. Oh my God, Everton. Luton looked up. Yeah, we touched on Luton earlier. Jesus Christ, they do look up. Defensively, as I said earlier, so the difference they got the reality check today. That today was the difference between Premier League life, Championship. They defend like that in the Championship. They can get away with it most of the time. Most of the time, not all the time. Most of the time. If you do that in the Premier League, you're getting done every single time, and they did. But talking of which, talking of poor defending, this was poor defending. I mean, is it Pereira, the former Man United player, the assist there? I mean, where was the defence, and what the fuck was Pickford doing? England's #1 Southgate. And yeah, fucking Reed with the back up his fucking full name, but yeah, Reed with the goal in the end. That's a pen, surely. Anyway, Mitrovic said, "Oh, I'll never play for Fulham ever again if you don't let me go to Saudi Arabia." Play today. How's that not a pen? Yet we saw earlier on today, in another game, that was a pen. Fuck me. Consistency, ladies and gentlemen. Consistency of West being shit as always. I'm angry at him for how eager he was to celebrate his goal against Leeds. Minutes after I had said to Gary and Sam he wouldn't do that to us. Okay, fair enough. Surely, though, that might be based on the fact he might have been getting baited by the folks, basically, whatever word you want to use, by the crowd, basically. I'm assuming this must have been at Ellen Road then. Or was it the Emirates last season? One or two. If it is at Ellen Road, I can sort of understand why he would do that then. If he was dug out by Leeds fans in the first place, fuck you, basically. At the Emirates, I don't know. Maybe I'm getting digs he heard it and all that, and just, you know what, fuck you, basically. Oh dear. I was about half an hour ago. To be honest, it was amazing. Oh god. How's Willian still playing professional football? Fuck knows. I mean, the only thing is, he left Arsenal. Obviously, he paid out his own contract at Arsenal to go back to Brazil, play for his boyhood club, local club when he was growing up and all that, and all publicity there. Went there for a year, and then when that contract ended, comes back to the Premier League and plays for Fulham, and then for most of last season, the last half of last season, sorry. And then contract runs out, looks like he's going to Forest, and then last minute U-turns, comes back to Fulham, decides, no, I'm going to sign a contract with you for another year, does all that, and then goes, actually, I want to go to Saudi Arabia. Damn it. Just got to make it up. I'm watching much of the day behind. Jesus Christ, Luton are gone. And seen doing a dub. I said this, that's what I'm saying. I said that comment when the Luton game was on. To be honest, I've been saying it in the group, one of the group chats I'm in on WhatsApp, because there's one Luton fan in there. We've been trying to pre-warn the guy. It could be a very long season for you, and it could be a very embarrassing one in terms of points totals. This Luton side could potentially, just before the ball was kicked, by the way, we said this, potentially this Luton side could worsen points total wise than that Derby County side. And that Derby County, that's decent. Only got one win, I think 3 or 4 draws, give or take. I can't remember what they got in the end. They could get less than that points-wise, Luton. But especially if they defend like that today. As I said, Championship, you get away with it most of the time. Not all the time, most of the time. Premier League, you do that, you're getting 5-6 pumped past you every game. That's the difference. And this is what I've been saying in terms of Luton and why they are such heavy favourites for most of us to get relegated, because yes, they've invested most of their money into the stadium, making sure it's suspect for the season ahead. But the money they have held back for players, it's just bringing in bog standard. I mean, bog standard Championship players, even I've not even heard of. Oh, but they're decent at that club and this club. But it's not Prem proven though. You need Prem proven quality, like it or not. It is what it is. If you don't want to do that, you're going to go down. Oh, but then we're getting ourselves even for the championship again and coming back up straight away. What like Norwich did for a couple of years, and then look at where they are now. Fulham basically stole over. Yeah, both teams were crap. Don't get me wrong in that Everton Fulham game. Sorry, but Everton's defence was just shocking for that goal. I think football should be banned. I'm saying nothing. Ryan Arteta treated this game like it was a pre-season. What was he doing? Seriously picking this team? Again, like I said before, if it had been, I think because of the situation of it being we're at home, it was not in a Forest, a team that's destined to be in the relegation scrap this year. We thumped them 5-0 last year. He thought he could afford to have a little experiment today with obviously Kai and Declan in midfield, Partey right wing back, inverted full back, whatever. He thought he could do that. He could do the little niggly bits. It would have worked. The thing is, it would have worked if they came out in the second half and didn't get so cocksure themselves into going into the last 10 minutes and go, "We're fine, Jack. Look at us." By the way, it's Bournemouth versus West Ham is on now. Hey, I've got to find my mouse again. Ooh, the mouse is gone. Mouse is gone. Where is it? There it is. There we go. But yeah, so I think he thought he could have. Again, the experiment would have worked if certain players, if certain players kind of got too cocky and overcommitted, try and get the third goal. There was no need to. The game was won 2-0 comfortable, at least. At the very least, it was comfortable at that point. But they overcommitted, got a bit too cocky by the overcommitment, and got caught out in the count. And that's where he's going to have to rein him in. Come Monday, obviously, got the warm down tomorrow morning and training. You have the meetings on Monday, and he has to. What's a goal by the way from Bone? Jesus Christ! So Bone scores the last goal of West Ham's season in January last year, with a winning goal in Europe. And scores an absolute beauty of a goal. Actually, not Saka standard, but still for West Ham's own standard, that's a beautiful beauty goal. Robbie Keane will be banned from Elland Road, doing fun of everywhere. Oh, I'll check this. Bet 700 million still doesn't know. It's not that. I think he knows he's strongest 11. You've got to remember Zinchenko. I think I don't know if there's an injury there that he's playing. He's not fully fit yet. You got to remember Zinchenko. Even if he's not injured, he hasn't played enough games because he obviously has saved himself for that charity game last week. You want to get injured and be out that game. Once because of the situation, I can somewhat understand, but somewhat like, Tierney, I don't know what's going on with Tierney. Honestly, don't know. Comes on last week, makes a mistake, 1-0. I think it's like he got punished today. Like he was at the squad. I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's been injured. He got picked up an injury in training. If he hasn't, it seems like he's been punished for last week's mistake. It could have cost us a Community Shield. Oh, Solanke scored. Bloody hell. You know you're shit when fucking Solanke's gone against you. Oh dear. But so yeah. Obviously, as I mentioned before, as I was saying, but teams about going on there. So obviously, we're playing them right back basically, right back basically, at left back today in Timber. You then again, I don't know why, but Gabriel's on the bench, and you got White in the centre back role alongside Saliba, and then playing Partey's of inverted, just to have him in the pitch, an inverted full back on the right side. Even though it didn't work back into last season, but anyway, he did it again because it's what it is. He tried it, see what things had changed, so to say. And also because it's Forest and we're at home. And obviously, he wanted to try out this Kai Havertz second pivot, which again was to an extent was working. Because when on the ball, obviously Partey was then dropping into midfield, adding the cover, so he could then push forward himself and add that support to the attack. Jesus Christ. Who was that? The post there? Was that number 10 there for the fucking the Hammers? This could be a long season for West Ham, by the way. Going from what I'm seeing again, it's a really bad season for football wise. They're still supporting for the fucking Man City and Arsenal or whatever. Jesus. I want to cry after watching that highlight reel. State of the guard, we know who always going to start. Smith Martinelli. He's got competition. So hence why we got the points what we did to him. He's the one player today who, even though he didn't get a goal, he obviously got that assist, that amazing assist, by the way. He ran himself into the ground, basically. He outshone everyone in that. And everyone did to a point, stepped up, but obviously got top, whatever. But it is what it is. Obviously, Eddie was up top. Obviously, normal with a fully fit squad, he's not starting today. It would have been Jesus. We all know this. So you got to take into account. Yes, he spent all this money, but we have an injury to Jesus. We don't know what's going on with any of our left backs. By the way, we don't know if one's injured or both are injured or one's just on the way out the door and he's only one injury. We don't know yet. We're having to play right backs, for fuck's sake, at left back. You've got to remember that at the moment. And again, we're at home. It's Forest. Look how far we've come. He wanted to experiment. It could have backfired massively in the last few minutes, but it didn't. We got the 3 points. We got out of there. We move on. He's not going to do that again. Touchwood. Against Palace next Monday night. It'll be in terms of the availability squad wise. It'll be the best 11 to his disposal, basically. At his disposal. When we have a fully fit 11, fully fit squad, we will see predominantly what he believes is his best 11. So people need to sort of relax at the moment. We've got the win. Yes, we don't understand why he did it today, to one extent, but he did do it. It didn't backfire because we got the win. We got the 3 points. The only reason it looks close, the result looked closer than it should have done. It's because for the last few minutes of the game, the players switched off and did what they did. But hey, it is what it is. We move. I'd rather us get the win, playing like we did in the second half, but still get the win, than playing like Liverpool did back start of last season against Fulham and drawing 2-2. Sorry, against a newly promoted Fulham. Oh dear. First, I'll take a set Gabby off. Again, it could be that. And keep to make sure he's fully available and match fit for Palace next Monday. Ipswich, unless I away the Championship, might as well kind of promoted. I'll be honest, in terms of Ipswich itself, I'm not just saying it because they're a fan. I've said it for a while. I want to see them back. It's been since about 2002. It's been 21 years. I think now. My head's gone blank. 21 years. It'll be 22 years come next May since they were a Premier League club. Since they got relegated to the Championship in the first place. So I would like, if Ipswich were to come up, I wouldn't be complaining. And I hope they do. They'd make a better fight of it if they did come up in the transfer window, get themselves ready for the season ahead next year. I predict it's 13 points for Luton Town. Too low? No, I think it's too much. I'll be honest. I think 13 points is too much for fucking Luton. The way they play today. Mr. Tom hates football again. Loves football chat. Can I shock you? I feel Eddie Nketiah won Arsenal game today. I mean, he scored again. I like the goal he scored. Don't get me wrong. He was making runs that he wasn't doing in pre-season, and he was being a bit of a nuisance. But again, I'm not going to get carried away. And we get again with him. Obviously he's got a few games to put his mark down on things and keep Jesus at bay when he comes back. But that's down to him now, like it was last season. But he's got less time to do it this time. But this is the thing now. We have got depth in our squad now. Like it or not, even the Arteta haters, we've actually got depth. As soon as the second Vaya confirmed, because again he was at the game today. He put it on his social media. He was at the game with his family. So the second that's officially announced will be on Monday morning. You're gonna have obviously Ramsdale is number one. But don't take any notice of what Sky's saying. Oh, there won't be any. The second Ray has announced it won't be a number one. It's going to be a straight shootout competition week in, week out. It could be one kick win. It could be Ramsdale 1 week, Ray the next. Sorry. No. Ramsdale will be the number one still. Raya, who will be on loan, by the way, with an option to buy, depending on how the season goes, obviously. When he does, with Mitzi, he will be getting. But it's a loan. £3 million loan for a player. By the way, he's turning 28 next month, by the way. So, again, it would make no sense to, in terms of longevity-wise, it would make no sense to drop Ramsdale straight from the off. Or in general, unless Ramsdale went through an absolute nightmare, basically, going forward, and he was making mistakes himself that led to the goals that we conceded, it'd make no sense to drop him for David Raya. David Raya is coming in knowing he's the number two. He won't say it publicly, but he knows he's the number two until further notice. So Premier League-wise, Ramsdale was our goalkeeper. League Cup, it'll be Raya. Champions League, I'd rather see Ramsdale in goal. No, again, Raya's a good goalkeeper, but I want the goalkeeper that's been. I want my best goalkeeper playing, basically. I'm old school. I'm not for this BS of, because the second goalkeeper gets less minutes anyway, so we might well give him the Champions League or Europa League or he does in the last few years. I don't like that model. I'm being honest. And the fact we're back in the Champions League, I want Ramsdale. Again, he's Arsenal's number one. He should be our Champions League goalkeeper. As in, he should be the goalkeeper for us in the Champions League side as well. Just because it's a cup doesn't mean Reyes should be, or any goalkeeper number two wise, should be given them minutes onto him. Sorry, I'm old school, so in that sense, the only way Raya gets into the Champions League or Premier League squad is if, as I say, Ramsdale either gets an injury to himself and has to go out for a couple of games, or Ramsdale does a layman and has absolute clangers after clanger, and that consistently to the point where Mikel has to drop him for a few games and give him a kick up the backside that way. People haven't really, most people, not all people, not everyone, most people haven't clocked on to why David Raya is being entertained in this situation, or the match and now gone to fights and all that. Why Raya? Why? It must be he doesn't have faith in Ramsdale. No, it's not nothing to do with that at all. He wants competition in every single. He said it numerous times, guys. He wants competition in every single position. And I'm sorry to say it, but Vaya, unlike Turner, with all due respect to Turner, as okay of a goalkeeper as he is, okay, he was not direct competition for Ramsdale, and Ramsdale knew it. Hence why we saw every now and then a little clanger here and there. Maybe not deliberate, but it was a clanger. We'll see the odd clanger. He'd be done at his near post, or he just make a mistake. And like we saw against Southampton, things like that, because he knew no matter what, the guy behind him wasn't good enough to push him out him as the number one at the club. Now, even though it's a loan, he knows Vaya, criminally proven, the goalkeeper that Arteta wanted before him, and he's good enough to push him out. So it could be the kick up the backside in that sense that he needs as well, knowing that there's a genuine challenge to his number one spot now. Even if it's only for this season, the challenge is there now. It's up to him how he takes that challenge. Basically, if he accepts it and kicks on and improves on the bad things that early this game, i.e., getting done at his near post, the odd mistake clearing that, playing that from the back, and things like that. It's down to him now. Will he step up? I think he will. I think he could step up. By the way, obviously the match that's on now is obviously Burnley Man City from last night. We all know what happened there, and yeah, there's no point putting the scoreboard for that and discussing that game because we all know for the last 24 hours plus we've known it. But hey, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm not losing my mind over this David Raya coming in situation. Even if it was been a permanent deal, I wasn't losing my mind. People in this chat that in group chats with it will back me up and say he's telling the truth. I'm not concerned. It's competition. I want, like Arteta, I want competition. I want every player, goalkeeper or outfield player, to know you ain't guaranteed a fucking spot in this 11 if you ain't stepping up and playing to the levels that we expect at this club. They need to know that they've got competition. They could genuinely lose their spot, and then by doing that, be out this coming within 5 minutes if they ain't careful. There's a ruthlessness now. Embrace it, guys. It isn't a bad thing. Why is it seen as a bad thing? Oh, but it's two potential number ones competing for a number one spot. One of them's going to be out. Of course, you're going to have that situation could arise where whoever's number two, in this case, it will be Vaya to start off with, until further notice, he is the number two. I keep saying that. He is. That's knock it or lump it. And he would have had them meetings and he would have had them discussions and he would have been well aware that he's coming in as essentially the number two to keep Ramsdale on his toes. To provide the competition, yes, but it's keeping him on his toes and being there ready if the situation arises where he could get a run against himself if Ramsdale was to drop off a bit. What would you rather? This situation we're currently putting ourselves in with David Raya, or have Ramsdale and his number two and number three nowhere near the quality of what he is. He then gets too comfortable, and then with that makes mistakes after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, knowing no matter what, he ain't getting dropped. Again, as an Arsenal fan of a certain age, I saw that. I witnessed that with Almunia, for fuck's sake. The guy was brought in to be the number 2 to Jens. He wasn't good enough. Even in them days, as a number 2, you could see when he came in as debutant to Jens occasionally, when obviously Wenger's trying to send a message. We saw Almunia wasn't good enough to deputise. And when Lehmann fully dropped completely out the squad, Almunia came number 1. We knew long term it wasn't going to work as him number 1. But because of the situation, because when Lehmann left that season, the following that summer, basically after he got dropped, the following into that season, sorry. And then we bring in Fabianski, a young Fabianski, a 19-year-old kid. And he wasn't good enough to push Almunia. Almunia knew no matter how poor he was performance-wise, no matter how many mistakes he'd make, howlers or goals, stupid goals, letting them in, basically, being the crappy goalkeeper that he was undroppable. He was comfortable. He was happy, knowing that Wenger had his back, and he weren't at Wenger and the club itself weren't breaking a neck to bring in someone better than him, at least. And look how that played out for us. That season he broke in as number 1. I said, "Oh no, wait." It's his errors near the end of the season cost us that title more than anything else. I've got DVDs. I watch things back. It was him. A couple of years later, getting a title race. Birmingham City. It's Birmingham City away. We're 1-0 up, coasting, and at that point we are the hot favourites to win the league. He makes a clanger and letting Kevin Phillips. When I say Kevin Phillips, I don't mean Kevin Phillips or to prime. I mean Kevin Phillips over the hill and back to retire. He let him score against it, lob him and score against him. And that effectively cost us the title. We drew that game and then we fell apart after that. But he knew he wasn't going to be dropped. He knew that summer the goalkeeper wasn't on Wenger's priority or the club's priority to get in. And when the question was asked going into the following season, again, when it came between him and Fabianski, because Fabianski a couple of years older now and in the squad and all that, he knew Wenger had his back. It only took until he got proper. It took for him to get a proper injury, and then Fabianski got his chance. Looked like he was going to grab it. He got injured, and then Szczesny came along, and then we saw again. Once Szczesny became the established number 1, same situation played out there, because he knew Fabianski wasn't good enough to push him to or even at the same level, or whatever. And there was no one else around, goalkeeping wise. He knew he could make mistakes. He knew he could have a clanger, consistent wise, and never get dropped. One great save. No matter what happens the rest of the season, he's our number 1 the following 2 years. It took for him to have it. It took for him. Look how long he was on number 1. How long it took for him to have a clanger against Southampton. We lost that game. It's Southampton or Stoke, one of the two. And he's in the changing room having a smoke, and that was what Wenger's like. You know what? Enough's enough. Bye bye. You're bench for the rest of the season. I think it was. I can't remember who it was now. Who was the number 1 for that season? The rest of that season, or Spina? I can't remember now. For the rest of that season, I think Fabianski took his spot basically. I can't remember now, but basically he got dropped. That was it. The final nail in the coffin. He was on the way out the door for the rest of the season. He was being moved on. And then Petr Cech came in over the hill. Petr Cech, he came in knowing there's no one, obviously fucking Spina, the midget man that he is. They weren't getting pushed again. And now in a situation, back in 2023-24 season, we're in a situation where, sorry, let's turn this down. Shut up. We're in a situation where how can I put this? We're going to have 2 quality goalkeepers as of probably Monday at our club. Ramsdale is our number 1. I have no doubt about that. Again, ignore what Sky Sports say before and when that announcement comes. Ramsdale is a number 1. Raya is our number 2 until further notice. The only way he becomes number 1 is if Ramsdale does a Lens Lehmann or Almunia, basically. And there's a few clangers too many, and Arteta has enough of it, basically, and he needs to teach him a lesson, basically. That's the only way. Until then, here's a number 1. I repeat, ignore Sky Sports when it comes to, now he's in, it's straight out competition. It's going to be one goalkeeper different. It'll be Vaya one game, Ramsdale the next. They have no clue. This is the Sky Sports news, by the way, here in the UK, that all day yesterday, from 6 o'clock yesterday morning, Harry Kane's on the way to the airport. He's halfway there. Actually, no, he's decided he's been told he can't get on the plane by Tottenham. Half an hour later, Tottenham police statement, load of bullshit. He can go. He's got a permission. It's all been agreed. Whatever. He's now leaving Stansted Airport. And then the Casado situation. They make it up as they go along. If you haven't realised, and there's a reason why they make it up as they go along. There's a thing called Sky Bet, and they want you to put your money into their betting system one way or another, whatever market that may be, especially in the transfer window. And again, it's Sky Sports. I mean, look. Remember when Arsenal bought Tomiyasu, and one of their big reporters came out live on air. I've spoken to Tomiyasu's agent, and even he doesn't know what position Tomiyasu plays. If he's a right back, wing back, centre back, DM, The disrespect, and even when he got fucking found out, as in done out for the BS that you're spouting. La 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 la. No apologies for his disrespect. So when they say nowadays things like, when the second David Raya is announced, it's gonna mean there's no actual number 1. No club operates like that. It ain't gonna start with Arsenal. Believe you me. So anyone that had any doubts on this situation or has their concerns, breathe, relax, and understand the whole situation. You'll be fine. If you still don't understand it, you want to do little rants and this, that, and the other, knock yourself out. But I'm not going to get fucking bogged down by it. I have faith in what Arteta and this club are building and what they're doing, and I believe in the reasons why they're actually bringing in Raya, even if it's a loan with an option being the opposite word, is to provide competition, to keep players in every position on their toes. Simple as. And that's all I can say on that, because I fucking ran in circles, but yeah. Saka scored a winning goal. Eddie was on the field when he won. Oh dear. Tom was a serious stalker. Everywhere I go, he's always there. Still, I will award my player of the weekend to Eddie Nketiah, despite there being games still to play. Yeah, he was so good. I see no need to wait for the others to finish. Again, to be fair to him, his goal is a good finish from Eddie. To be fair to him, and I've been a massive critic, as you know as well, Tom, especially during pre-season. I was a massive critic of him pre-season and last season, and yeah. But you know what I'm saying. I was talking about Eddie when he scored. I did that. What game was it now? I don't think what it was, because obviously, was it Monaco? It was Monaco, yeah. The Monaco Emirates Cup game, we did a watch on, didn't we? And I was there, I'm sitting there ranting and raving about Eddie, calling him everything under the sun, pretty much. Bang, 1-1. And I'm just sitting there laughing. Yeah, in that situation, all you've got to do is laugh. Oh dear. Or you do what Lee Gunner does. Which ain't me, but it is what it is. Misery airplane. I'll behave. Why? He can't. No, I need to check that in a minute. No way did he waive a lead today. If he did, that's the reason why they lost. End of. Tom at 4:45, a clean sheet. We can build on this. Daniel James at 4:46. Hold my. I haven't seen the highlights. The only highlights in the championship I've seen from today was the Southampton Norwich 4-4 draw score fest. Joshua. Oh yeah, Joshua. The AJ fight, if you can call it that, against a guy that fought last week and he won or lost, but this is AJ. It's fully fresh and ready to go. The other fight in the band literally fought last week. Talk about setup of the century to bring AJ back. AJ is less relevant now than he ever has been, to the point where he's not even on Sky Box Office in the UK. In the UK, if you're on Sky Box Office for your boxing fight, you're regarded as it's a big one. Fight wise, like there's no messing about sort of thing. If you're on basically the equivalent of BT Sport Box Office, when this was now rebranded TNT, not as serious, not taking this seriously, but put it that way. Not in high regard. In yes, I've got to defend him today because he did score the goal. He did performance-wise, it was all right, but you can't be sitting there digging him out when he'd done the performance that he did today and he scored the goal that he did. If he'd been completely shit and there's another bog standard thing that we've seen all pre-season from him, then I could understand. But yeah, again, we just have to wait to the next game. The game back. Eddie knows he's only got a handful of games before Jesus is back. It's not like last year, so he knows he has to make it count now. Arsenal got a good first team, but not so sure if they get injuries just like last season. I don't understand that because obviously you'd say last season we fell back into our second team. Then it didn't, especially back into last season, it didn't work for us. But I think we've made enough improvements going forward to suggest there's some improvement in our second string. So the way to go. We're not the complete package, but we do have depth. We're not completely 100% done and dusted. Here we go, sort of thing. If we were to challenge Man City, whatever they do, we've got to do better. Fact. Obviously, that's just yeah. Well, we still haven't got a squad that will change on all fronts. Again, the only squad, the only team that has that is Man City. Even Liverpool don't have that anymore. They had it at one point, but don't have it anymore. They're having to rebuild again. So challenging all four fronts at one time. No, the only team that can realistically do that is Man City. We've seen they won 3 out of the 4 last year, obviously. More luck than anything, but they still won them. But we're getting there. Slowly but surely we are getting there. It takes time. Yes, we've spent a lot of money. I understand that. But we haven't got the unlimited funds of a Man City. And also we're trying to do things the right way, unlike them. We're not trying to put ourselves over 100 plus charges of financial doping. But we're getting there. Slowly we are getting there. And next, I think from I'm being honest, I think after Ray, I think we'll probably do what we'll probably do. I'm not saying we will. We'll probably get one more player in after David Villa, probably. But in terms of having a squad ready to compete on all four fronts, I think we'll be at that point next season. This time next season, that's when we will be at that point where we will have a squad good enough and deep enough to compete on all four fronts. I think this season with this squad, it's good enough. It's good enough to compete on 2 out of 4, over 2 out of 4 trophies. If they do win 2 out of 4, fantastic. But if we are good enough to do it, in terms of going for a double, at least a double, whatever double that may be, League, FA Cup, League, and another or whatever. This squad is good enough to compete for 2 honours out of the 4. And it's just a matter of adding more quality next summer. And then from this time next year, we kick on and we will see a team that is then capable of going for all 4 major honours, basically. It takes time. It's frustrating as it is. It does, for teams like us, clubs like us, it does take time. As I said, Liverpool had that. We saw them. They were literally a kick away, basically, from essentially winning the league and the Champions League a couple of years ago, along with the cups, domestic cups. Sorry, it was just a small margins that they didn't win the quad the year before last. And then obviously since then the quality fell off because they didn't do the rebuild from then. They got found out last year, and they're gonna get. I think it's gonna be another long one for them this season. I'll be honest. Yes, they've done some good business. Don't get me wrong, but they're not back to that same level again, and they might be able to compete on a front out of 4. A front, not all 4. One. They've still got a lot of business to do. They need a DM. They need at least a DM. They need technically they need 2 at least, for backup and rotation. But with how much the time is left in this window, again, everyone gives Liverpool these props from the other bigger YouTube channels and all that. They're giving them Liverpool props that they're going to come back this season. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with again. They've still got a lot of work. They've got a lot of work to do. Sorry, they've lost Henderson. They've lost Fabinho. They haven't replaced him yet. Yes, they've brought midfielders in, but the midfielders they've brought in are attack-minded midfielders and not defence-minded midfielders. They've got no defence-minded midfielders. Harvey Elliott is not the answer. Sorry. I still think it's. I want to do a segment. Just come on, do a weekly segment basically. Where I just come on and put the voice to rights and rant for about an hour or so about random football events, Arsenal related and non-Arsenal related. Chris Nicks, Mourinho played over 100 games. Yeah, exactly. And you're not even an Arsenal fan, and you're saying that now. We lived through it. I lived through it every year. Even the year he broke in as the number 1 in 07-08, when Jens was outed to number 2 for that season in what was Jens' final season, full season anyway. Even then, I'm like, okay, we've got the season out of the way. Let's go and get a better goalkeeper than Mourinho. Put him back to number 2. Bring in a number 1 now. It's good enough, if not better than what Jens ever was, basically, or Seaman. Yeah. 3-4 years later, we still had Mourinho, for fuck's sake. Oh dear. I wanted to cry, that's all I'm going to say. Every fucking seat. That's day 1. Who's it going to be? Mourinho, Fabianski, Mourinho. It's every Mourinho, for fuck's sake. Mourinho could have quite literally committed the worst crime in the world. He could have basically shot someone in the leg in front of Arsene Wenger. No, he's innocent. He's my number 1 still. It was that bad at the time. Joshua KO. Oh, but Shock over there. Again, it was on. It's in fact the fight was on fucking beat what is now TNT Sport box office, not on Sky box office, is it all? And the fact that literally his initial fight with Chisora, the initial fight he went to fight, had to pull out after a failed drugs test or whatever it was. Again, and out of nowhere, he suddenly, out of nothing, 4 days ago, plucks her name out of a hat, basically. Oh, he will do, but Anthony, he literally fought last weekend. No, he's okay. He hasn't had no time to prepare, but fantastic. Well, hey, off we go. It'd be a fantastic fight, yeah. Fucking yeah, for you, because obviously you're usually relevant. You know, he's the worst. 6th round, he got what? The fact he went out of 6 out of 12 rounds. He had to go 6 rounds out of 12 against a fighter that fought literally last week against someone else and didn't have the time to prepare for this fight at all. We played about a starting centre forward, centre back, left back, and goalkeeper. Something Ray is the future. Don't stop me on that again. I know we said this whilst I was writing off before, but no, just no. And leave Tom alone. By the way, Craig, be nice. No need for that. Seeing that comment now. Something Reyes. No, Reyes coming in as number 2. Again, people need to remember Reyes 27 now. He's 28 on the 15th of April, 15th of September. He'll be 28. September? I think anyway. He's turning 28 soon. Either this week coming or next month, he's turning 28. Ramsdale, on the other hand, is a young 24, 25-year-old goalkeeper. Who is our number 1? And even though Vaya is coming in as a loan with an option to buy, Ramsdale will be our number 1 when Vaya is officially announced. Vaya is our number 2 until further notice. And when people get that through their thick skulls, we can all move on and be happy, basically. Trossard, Jorginho, Kiwa, Tomiyasu, KT, and ESR hopefully make up our FA and EFL Cup squads. Still not good enough. That's what I'm saying. We're not fully there yet. We've got things to do, but this squad is capable. In terms of the entirety of the squad, in my belief, it is capable of competing on 2 fronts for two major honors out of 4. Next year, this time next year, it will be different. Trust me. In a good sense, obviously. Crap. Oh, buddy, what's that? Can we just take a minute to pause the chat because Ryan needs to on his spiel. Thank you for your cooperation. Oh, my days. I'm just saying how it was. But the situation at the time. I needed to get that out of my system because it was just doing my head in. Especially with Sky Sports running it down people's throats. Oh, when Ray is fucking brought in, that's it. There's no direct number 1. Yes, there is. He's called Aaron Ramsdale until further notice. And David Raya knows that. If there was any chance of David Raya being our coming in and straight away being our number 1 and dislodging Ramsdale unjustly, by the way, deal would have been announced before this game went ahead. Like Thursday, Friday, this would have been announced before the cut-off point. So people need to sit back, see what's happening, and realise the situation of what it is. Again, Raya is turning 27, 28. He's coming in as competition to Ramsdale, i.e. the number 2. You know, number 2, the backup, until further notice. Unless something horrendous happens to Aaron in these performance levels, then he might become number one at some point, and the roles will reverse that. But people need to go down, get a coffee, smell it, embrace the smell, have a sip, and realise the situation. Instead of just going, oh, David Veia's coming in, he's number one. No. And just don't piss me off on it. Just don't. It's not worth the hassle for me, because I will come with the fucking smoke on this. And I'm not having any fucking unjust behaviour towards Aaron Ramsdale. I'm not having it. The guy, people are suddenly, because of David Villa links, and obviously potential any moment now is going to be announced, by probably I'll say Monday will be announced officially. Because David Villa is on the verge of coming to Arsenal, even if it's a loan, initially on a loan, by the way, with the option to buy. Suddenly people have short memories and forget the amount of times Aaron Ramsdale, yes, he's had a few clangers along the way, a few, and that's actually, I'll probably count on one hand the amount of the clangers that Ramsdale's had in the first 2 seasons at Arsenal. This is his 3rd full season, but in the first 2 seasons he's been with us, and he's been majority of that time been our number one. The amount of points he's saved us, the amount of games he's won us, and the amount of games, as I say, saved us, i.e. stopped us from losing, i.e. Anfield last season. We were 2-0 up and all that. We got paid back to 2-2. Liverpool and Anfield, what it was, the atmosphere, and Liverpool fans got perked up and they could smell blood. Who made 2 worldly saves in the dying seconds of that game? One of them was a deflection off his own player, by the way. And another one, he threw his body in the line. But people suddenly have, because of the David Villa links, have a short-term memory on that. The amount of times that guy saved us. And I'm not for that. He's a good goalkeeper, a really good goalkeeper. There's a potential there to really kick on. And now, with Villa coming in, the potential to iron out their mistakes and the errors in his game, I've gone even higher now. And if coming into the season, and obviously Villa hasn't dislodged Ramsdale as number one, and he wants to fuck off elsewhere, so be it. That to me shows he hasn't got the mentality that we need at this club. He wants a Flo Balogun situation where it's gifted to him on the play. Not such a thing as highlights in the championship. Was it ITV had the highlights for that? Had the rights for that side. Oh, they lost that now. Rant. don't say things that got to fucking trigger me to put me back into a rant then. Fucking hell, I do rant on a bit though. But yeah. So far beyond the fucking chat, I don't care. I had a point to get across and I fell beyond the chat. I don't care. Oh, that's Arsenal forever. Interesting how he had to change his name to act like an unfortunate. Yeah, as I say, I saw the comment before, Tom. I've verbally on here put the warning out there that there's no need for that. That he needs to rein it in, because no need for name calling or digs or jibes at anyone. We're all, even though we're not all Arsenal fans, we're all football fans. We all have a laugh here. That's it. We all have our agreements, disagreements, and this, that, and the other. It's all healthy debate. There's no need for anyone to dig at anyone else or make snide remarks like that. If that means that obviously when I called him out and said there was no need for it, if that means he's unsubbed to the channel, so be it. It is what it is. When I get sidetracked, let's go. I go when I don't. I say rant. I go off and on a spill, as you say, and just think Chris's last comment, sorry. I go off on a spill, but I obviously I let the chat, obviously I let you guys go away, and I'll catch up afterwards, basically. Save for the cameras. Oh, bite me, Stefan. My points, either way, my point still stands. The lad has saved us countless times. In the two, this is his third season now at Arsenal. In the two previous seasons, the amount of points he's saved us and won us. I mean, have you, up till him coming along, when was the last goalkeeper for us, or you could say done that for us? And look how many goalkeepers we went through previous to him. Bert Leno, Petr Cech, Szczesny, Ospina, Munya, Fabianski. Did any of them I've mentioned just there, in an Arsenal shirt, perform to that same level? Right, Ryan Rance with David Mitchell would be amazing. That's a funny. I want to say funny. I was just literally has to say. Oh, don't. Is it because it's a subject that's close to me in terms of goalkeeping wise? I'm just like, nah. Especially he's our best goalkeeper we've had since Jens Lehmann, and that's saying something. When Jens Lehmann was a mad German, and even he had mistakes in him. And I'd actually argue that in terms of my lifetime, the top three goalkeepers in my lifetime have been obviously David Seaman, number one. Obviously, he's my goalkeeper. He's the first Arsenal goalkeeper I recognise, because obviously he was goalkeeper when I started supporting Arsenal. And that longevity he had at the club. And obviously, Jens part of the unbeaten team, but then obviously we know how that ended. Obviously, a few years later, Ramsdale's up there. In terms of in my lifetime, the goalkeepers we've had, he's in the top three. Doesn't say much, but you know what I'm saying. He's a very good goalkeeper with a very high ceiling and hasn't hit his potential yet. And like every other goalkeeper, he has mistakes in him. Like everyone. Even Neuer, at peak of his powers, had mistakes in him, for fuck's sake. Oh, dear. But yeah, it's just... when it's a subject where you've heard me rant about it, not rant, but talk passionately about it, basically. Don't come in and go, well, let's say for the cameras, because as you say, you knew that was like dagger to the heart. Like, really, have I got to go through this again? This is it. Before we end, as we're about to end, actually, we will end this because obviously Match of the Day we've done that for about half hour now. Many ask for ruthlessness. If Arteta Edu Villa is the new number one, then what say you? Again, he's not been brought in to be number one. He's been brought in to be the competition to push on number one, to keep him on his toes so he doesn't get cocky, so he doesn't make the mistakes that could lead him not to be the number one because he thinks he's comfortable. Okay, Jack. Villa is is coming in to be the number two of immediate effect. The only way he becomes number one is if Ramsdale falls off a cliff in terms of performance-wise, not literally fall off a cliff, but in terms of performance-wise. End of. You're going to kill me, you know. But Edu and Arteta are bringing him in to be the competition to the number one. So it keeps the number one on his toes and vice versa. So the number one in question, Aaron Ramsdale, doesn't get comfortable and do an Munya, a Fabianski, a Szczesny, a Petr Cech, a fucking Leno. Need I go on? We see it. up and down the country with other clubs, in and around Europe with other clubs. You have your number one. I mean, fucking Leeds. I'm sorry, Tom. I'm going to say this now. Fucking Meslier. He's your number. Well, has been your number one since you got promoted to the Premier League, and in 3 seasons. I know he's a young goalkeeper, he's a young lad and all that, but the amount of changers he had, but because he knew there was no direct competition good enough to push him to out of being number one, we saw nothing improve. And now, because obviously with what you're saying, obviously been relegated and all that, you brought in a goalkeeper push to keep now push him to fight for that number one spot. He wants out. What does that say about the character of the kid? 4 lead players are currently on strike. Oh my God, give me strength. I missed YouTube. Here I was writing and reading those old-fashioned things called books. I'm having a wonderful time. Yeah, if you fucking poking the bear and trying to piss me off. If it isn't you, it's Gary with his bloody comments of Phil about this. If I take on Eddie Phil Vayers and it's new number one, then what? What say you? He isn't coming in to be the number one. I stand by that. But anyway, nevertheless, we are out of here. I'm out of here. I'm going to get some sleep and rest and whatever you want to call it these days. I will be back Monday. First podcast of the season. Match reaction review, what you want to call it nowadays. Myself and the panel, the regular guys, hopefully will be available. And basically me and a panel. Hopefully regular Steve and Andrew will be available, along with maybe another. And we will discuss in full depth today's game against Nottingham Forest and the situation with David Raya, because obviously by then hopefully it will be announced officially. Everyone kick their points across on that, and when we'll kick on from that, obviously. But yeah, that's a normal everyday podcast basically on this channel, talking all things Arsenal, based on the previous game, and looking forward to the upcoming one. It is on Monday next month, not this Monday coming, obviously, the following Monday under the lights of Palace. Aside from, and after that, then I'll be back on Wednesday morning, 10:30. I'll be going live, half hour before the kickoff of England versus Australia in the World Cup semi-final for a spot in the final to place either Sweden or Spain. Oh my days, this is mental. I'm going to say this now: if England do not reach the final, then whoever wins out of Spain and Sweden will win the World Cup, in my opinion. Unless it's fixed for Australia. But anyway, if it was fixed, fucking that penalty shooter didn't fucking show it. Jesus Christ. Sorry, Australia. But yeah, you made hard work of it today, but deserving that you're in the semis. But we will be, as I say, we will be covering that game live here on the channel. As I say, 10:30 going live, 11 o'clock kickoff itself, the match. That's on Wednesday, and then and that's on Wednesday. Thursday, hopefully be able to do the delayed kit rankings show with Sam and a few other guests a week late, but we're going to do it hopefully this week. And then Friday, we're going to do our first match preview of the season, looking ahead to the Palace game on Monday night. Next Saturday night, match of the day again. All the other games that play on Saturday. Obviously, Arsenal aren't playing, so it'll be all the teams in the round. Obviously, our rivals and the teams that are already scrapping for survival already after one game, and all that jazz. And I might even throw in depending on the outcome of the semi-final, between England and Australia. If England win, England then play the final on Sunday. If that happens, and happens to be the case, then I will do a Premier League watch-along on a Saturday. That would be the Man City Newcastle game. If England are to lose on Wednesday and end up in the third, fourth place playoff, I'll do a watch-along for that on Saturday but no Premier League watch along. It'll just be the playoff game, the third, fourth place game between England and whoever, if that is the case, any match of the day. But also say, if fingers crossed, in touch wood, we do get to the final, you'll get your new Man City Newcastle watch along on Saturday, followed by the match of the day stream after that, and then Sunday will be the big one, a World Cup final. As I say, hopefully of England in it. Hopefully. And then obviously the following night, Arsenal going away to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park under the lights for the third season in a row. They didn't get us last time. Can they get us this time? Good bastards, I hate them. But we'll go from there. Aside from that, I'll see you guys on the other side. As always, do smash that like button, guys. Do subscribe. Do share the content around as well. And we'll see you on the other side. As always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you guys.